Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. There's a few things, house rules, that I like to go over before we begin the actual topic of the day. We will be talking about images and alt text today. I anticipate that this webinar will go quite quickly, and we will have time to help answer your questions at the end. So please, if you do have questions, feel free to put that in the chat, and we will for sure get those answered. First, if you could please make sure to mute your microphones. Do not use video. Basically, that's a distraction for me, but I would like to try to get video involved in these webinars in the future. Please ask questions in the chat. I'll give a presentation for roughly 20 minutes, and then we'll have around 20 minutes for Q&A. And as always, please be respectful of others. Oops. There are some resources that we have available for you, and I'm just going to list them off quite quickly. They're the same ones that I usually describe before each webinar. We are Biology Information Technology Group, referred to as BIT, and my name is Ann Griesel, and I'm part of this team. You can learn more about us by visiting our website, biology-it.iastate.edu. There's a Luggage showcase page that you might be interested in. This is located on our Luggage documentation website. You can go to our Biology IT site /luggage_doc/showcase. It's also a main menu tab. There are Luggage feature examples. If you're wondering some of the things that Luggage can do for you on your website, we have examples here that you might want to take a look at. And again, that's on our Luggage doc website /luggage-feature-examples. The Digital Access website is a great place to go if you're wanting to learn more about making all of your content more digitally accessible. That includes not only web, but your Word documents, your PDFs, and even your email. You can learn more on Zaire Jordan's website. It is digitalaccess.iastate.edu. And if you take a look at that, the homepage has been updated. So there's some information there for you. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started talking about images and alt text. And it looks like we have a developer here, John, who's putting the links for you in the chat. So if you'd like to follow along as I talk about some of these things, please feel free to do that. We just have one slide today. So what I thought I would do is go over this slide briefly, and then I will visit each of these resources and explain a little bit about them. After that, I will dive into alternate text specifically. This will hopefully help give just a more well-rounded overview of what it means to be compliant. Next month, I'm looking to try to do an accessibility webinar that might go a little more in depth, and we'll see if we can get some people from campus to join me in that, so that it won't just be me up here, but we'll have a few other people to join us in an accessibility discussion. Images and alt text. The actual standard states that all non-text content that is presented to the user has a text alternative that serves the equivalent purpose. There are several resources that you can go to help understand some of these standards that are even beyond alt text. The quick reference guide we'll visit first. and that discusses all the standards from the W3C website in accordance with the WCAG 2.0 standards. One resource that I like to go to a lot is they call it the WCAG checklist. That's just a pronunciation for the WCAG checklist, but basically there's a gentleman who has a law degree and who is a creative writer that has written these standards out in a little bit more user-friendly sort of context. Then we have Digital Access website, which has a page specifically about alternate text, which I will visit so that you can have that as a resource for you as well. And then Section 508, this is the actual law pertaining to the fact that our websites need to be accessible, and that's been revamped. And so there's a page about laws and policies that explains the revamp and what that means. And basically, the bottom line is that we're going to need to be compliant, working towards that compliance goal for sure by January of 2018 is what it looks like. Okay, I'm going to share a different screen. So just one moment here. All right. So we'll see what that looks like. This is the WCAG checklist. It's a quick guide, and sometimes people don't know about this. If you just search for WCAG or W3C, it's buried a little bit in terms of how to find this, but I feel that Zaira has shared this with me and that it is a very nice way to view all of the guidelines. You have the ability on the left to filter, so you can decide to filter by level A and level AA standards. That's what we're going to be striving for. AAA is above the bar. That's very high level accessibility standards, and in some cases we are actually meeting AAA standards. So it's very good to identify where you're meeting those standards and try to do it for as much as you can. But for our purposes today, we're going to select level A and level AA. When we do that, the list will show us all of the standards that pertain to level A and AA with descriptions. We're going to talk about alt text today. That's guideline 1.1. Excuse me, text alternatives. I need to get some water. Okay. So you can see the actual description here, and this is where I took the text for my PowerPoint slide. You can also see some examples. So here's a situation. If you have a short description, can serve the same purpose and present the same information as non-text content. Situation B, a short description cannot serve the same purpose and present the same information as non-text content. So this is going to go into all of the different ways that you can comply with this standard, a lot of which we're paying attention to on the development side, and you as content editors are getting access to easily be able to, for example, add alt text and comply with these standards. If you look at the WCAG checklist, you can go through here and see all of the level A and level AA and even AAA standards. We'll go up to the first one, which we're talking about, the non-text content. And you can see that it's explained very nicely, easily. You can understand quite simply from a very simple, straightforward context what it is that you need to do in order to comply. So add alternate text to all of your images, add alt text to your audio and video, add a name to all of your controls, such as search or submit. So you can read a little bit more about this standard from these guidelines as well. The digital access website has a page on it that's specific to alt text. I'm going to find that page. Oops, sorry. That's a good page too. This is the alternate text page where you can watch videos regarding alt text. This is not just, this page is not just about web, but this is explaining how you can provide alt text on your images in Word, for example, and in PDFs. So we need to be cognizant of the fact that we communicate digitally in many different mediums. So it's email, documents, and that sort of thing too. So video, so make sure that they're captioned and make sure that you can find those accessibility controls within the software that you use. If you're unfamiliar with that, Zaire is a great resource, and she's been holding workshops on these topics. And I know that last week we did have a workshop specific to adding accessibility compliance to your documents, as well as explaining how to do captioning in YouTube, for example, on your videos. So you'll want to watch for those events that happen on campus. If you'd like to learn more about the actual Section 508 law, you can read about it here. You can see that there was a final rule that was presented. And you can also see that it refers to the WCAG 2.0 guidelines, and that you can read more specifically about the actual Section 508 rule. So I just wanted to make sure that you all have those guidelines and can read through those. Are there any questions right now that anyone has before I demonstrate how you can add alt text to your images? Okay, I think it's a pretty quiet, small group today, so I'll just go for it here. When you add content, and specifically we'll do this in the Luggage platform, and we have the Drupal theme on this platform, so you can see that our sites are in the new ISU Drupal theme. If you add content, you can go to page, for example, and you'll be able to add a title and fill out the fields as we've discussed before. But you can also add images. So you could choose a file, and I'm hopefully going to find my example files quickly here. And we have a person on campus who is Barb McBreen, who's done a great job of providing some options for images for us to use for this purpose. So I'm going to go ahead and upload one of those. It's a nice picture of Central Campus, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and put some alt text here. When you put alt text on an image, keep in mind that you do not need to put image of or photo of. You'll just need to put some brief succinct text in regards to what the image actually is. So I could put Central Campus on a bright sunny day, and then you can insert the image, and when you insert the image, the alt text is also inserted with the image. So what that means is that a screen reader, for example, will pick up on that and read that alt text. Let's see. It's pretty easy to do. There are various things that we can talk about in regards to alt text, but I think that for the most part, as content editors, the main thing is to make sure that all of your images have alt text on them when you insert them. So you'll want to double click on your images and make sure that that alt text exists. And that's something that you'll be able to do. We are working on making the alternate text component here required. So that will be required in the near future. And it is required on several of our sites. But we've updated the platform and it is required now in the new updates. All right. So I think I'm going to go ahead and end there. I wanted to keep this short and sweet today in regards to presentation. But if you have any questions on websites that you're working on or accessibility questions, I'd be happy to help pass those along to Zaira as well and get responses to you in that way, and at least put you in contact with the right people to get those questions answered.